Live with myself, Riley Meekin, Christian Edwards, where we have unfiltered conversations. We're going to talk about politics, current events, but we do this with a kingdom perspective. We do this for one reason, and that is to impact culture and transform lives. Welcome. Christian, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's going on, man? Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to the listeners out there. I'm excited, man.
Yes.
It's a big week, big night tonight. We got the Tyson fight. I would consider it a Tyson fight. I guess the younger generation would say it's a Paul fight. But Mike Tyson, man, fighting at 58 years old tonight in my backyard down here in Dallas. I'm looking forward to that.
It is incredible. Yeah, I'm hoping I can stay up late enough for it, man. That's going to get past my bedtime. But we got a great show today. It is. It really is. We're gonna end with that, with some predictions and things like that. But today is going to be fun. First off, get in the chat. Let us know where you guys are from. We want to know. We want to meet you guys more and more. This is only our third week doing this, bro. It feels like we've been doing this longer than that. But we want to know where you guys are from and get to meet you a little bit more. And we're going to make this kind of an interactive one today. It is going to be fun. We're going to play a little like fantasy draft with this. We got a special guest that's coming on with us here in a little bit. So get ready. Get those fingers ready to type too, because we know who Trump's picked. We know those nominations, but we want to know who your guys' top picks are. So stick with us on this. But Christian, what's going on, man? What's going on in the news today? How about this past week?
This past week? Well, I mean, all these cabinet appointments and nominations. Every nomination that I see, I just, all the stress that we felt and that anxiety, like leading up to the election, it definitely subsided. That was lifted once Trump won. But then when we see all these cabinet appointments and nominations, it's like, oh yeah. This is just getting me excited because everybody, and I know there's criticism. There's always going to be criticism from the other side, but they're not fit for the job, or they're not seasoned enough, or they don't have the ability, whatever it is. But this is a cabinet, and this is going to be an administration where it's some bad bleep dudes and gals. And what I love about it is, no, not everybody's a Christian. Yes, we're the King's Council. Jesus is the king. We sit on the council. However, it straight up says in Scripture that the cowardly, they're not fit for heaven. In Revelation 21, that the cowardly aren't going to get in. Does that just mean like if you're timid or cowardly, you're going straight to hell? No. Obviously, we know if we place our faith in Jesus, we are saved, we're sealed with the Holy Spirit. But that's pretty powerful. And I believe that there's a lot of cowards on the other side, a lot of cowards who, just in this world, period, that they'll say something, and then when there's a little bit of backlash, they'll take it back. They'll make a statement. They're sorry. They offended people, this and that. But what I love about this administration is that they say what they mean and they mean what they say. It's like they don't pull any punches, and I love it. It's true leadership.
Yes, yeah, absolutely is, man. And I think that starts with the top down. Obviously, Trump is an incredible leader. Doesn't matter what the left media has said about it and what he's like to work. I loved something that Tulsi Gabbard had even mentioned. It's like, when I actually met him, like he's making sure everybody in the room has something to eat, something to drink, things like that. And it's like a servant type leader, right? And so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that, man. But since I mentioned Trump, I think it was amazing. He actually got to go meet Biden this week at the White House. Which, speaking of coward, no, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You say just kidding. I know this is a Christian show. We're glorifying Christ, but you don't take that back.
Well, yeah, we're just calling out junk the way it is, and I think as believers, that's what we have to do. That's part of when you mentioned being a coward. Essentially, it's those that are cowering back. If you think about that, it's like, no, we're gonna stand at the battle lines. We're gonna fight. We're gonna speak truth, and we're gonna continue to do that no matter what comes against us. And I actually tuned into Graham's show a little bit this morning. Royce, I tuned in with you, brother, on there, and I loved what Graham said. He's like, don't be surprised. Right now, there's gonna be all sorts of just propaganda and junk thrown out like, oh, this dude slept with this guy, or maybe a dude with a guy nowadays, or this gal last year or 15 years ago, and all this. But there's never any evidence of this. But there's all these just false accusations, and that's just going to continue to happen, right? And we have to. And I love again that the team that Trump is putting into place here. I love it too, man. That they're all like basically celebrities at this point too. So everything that they've ever said and done is pretty much out there, and they're just going to continue to try to throw muck at them. But let's get into a couple things, man. And then I want to get into this draft with us here and bring on our guest here for everybody as well.
Yeah, well, why don't we play the clip of Trump and Biden when they shook hands? Because this is how a true man shakes hands. This is how a true man leads. Play that clip, Royce.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome
Thank
back.
You, and thank you very much. And politics is tough. And it's,
I think this is
many cases
Joe Biden's
not a very nice
second favorite
world,
day
but
this year.
It is a nice world today, and I appreciate it
The
very
first
much.
one was
a transition
a
that's so
couple
smooth,
Tuesdays
it'll
ago
be-
when he found out Trump won.
Right.
You know, it
Right.
was funny. They showed a lot of photos of them with just a big old smile on his face. But yeah, obviously, I think Joe's probably just ready to be done. And being propped up the way he has been, it's been unfortunate. But excited for what is continuing to come, man. It's even, I think we talked about this last week, but like so much stuff has already started happening with, Hamas starting to step down. We're seeing just so many things from other political leaders that are like, they're already getting into alignment here with America coming back to the superpower that we once were, and in things they're starting just to fall in line, and it ain't even January 20th yet, right? How incredible is that?
Yeah, I just saw this morning. I think I don't know if it's the president of Korea or whatever it is that started practicing golf so he could impress Trump. He hates golf. He gave it up years ago, but he started practicing golf so he could impress Trump. Like that's just phenomenal. That there's instant authority with Trump being our president, and that's who we need as a leader. I want other nations to fear us. I don't want to be a pushover, right? Like that's what the leadership of this nation should instill fear, but like a healthy reverence. Like I don't believe this guy is evil like some leaders out there that they just may on a whim drop a nuke on us. But no, we're not to be messed with. And Trump, his administration, and even comparing that handshake of Trump to like a guy like Tim Walz, right? Like we need true masculine leaders. Like check this out, like Tim Walz, he's got this wave that he does. Like, do you want this guy as vice president? Like look at that wave. Like I don't get it. It just screams beta, right? Yeah.
We're gonna get Jesse Lee Peterson, and for those that don't know this guy, you look up Jesse Lee Peterson. He is hilarious, and I don't even think he's trying to be hilarious. He just absolutely is. We're gonna see if we can get him on one of these episodes, man. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Well, we should probably at least play one clip of him every week. We send him back and forth. He's just hilarious. He's hilarious.
Roy, see if you could find one for us, brother. That would be phenomenal. But leading into this, I want to kind of get into this now because we're gonna be bunched up on time here because there's a lot we want to unpack here, and I think one of the biggest things that when we found out Trump was in, it's like, all right, now it starts. Like we thought that okay, it's we're in, great, but now it's really starting for him. And I think one of the things that he had said on Joe Rogan's podcast, man, was that the mistakes that he had made in his the first 4 years that he was in, and a lot of it was just picking the right people, picking the proper administration, and how important for that is as leaders, whether you're running a business or who you're surrounding yourself with. Just it is so important. And I was just even thinking some of the top NFL football quarterbacks that are out there, some of the I even think of Baker Mayfield, like. he was struggling for a period of time, and then he went to Tampa, and it's like the dude was. They're struggling a little bit now, but it's all because all of his players got hurt, right? But when he actually had weapons around him, where he had an offensive line. Brock Purdy is another example. The dude was drafted literally last in 2022. Considered Mr. Irrelevant, and now all of a sudden he's got weapons. He's got players on his team. It's not a one-man show here, but this is who you're surrounding yourself with, because one guy can't do all of this, right? It's who are these picks that I'm going to know that I can put them in charge, and they're going to lead appropriately, be able to make decisions that are all in alignment for making America great again. And I think Elon said it best, right? With kind of assembling the Avengers team.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Trump said on Joe Rogan's podcast, he said the one mistake he made in his first term was who he put into his administration, and he didn't even realize like how many appointments there would be, and he just went on the recommendations of others. So now, if that's his one mistake, and other people's may, they may say he had other mistakes, but that's his one admitted mistake. He ain't making that mistake again. He's getting some beasts in there. Yeah, play this clip. Elon posted this, Avengers 2.0.
Is it me, or do Trump administration picks look like these guys? Tell me if I'm wrong. He's putting together a team that can save the world, just not the economy, the world. Then he got Elon Musk, okay? His role is to see what the government been doing with our tax money, okay? And I'm here for it. Because Elon needs to let me know if they've been spending my money on illegal immigrants. I want to see how much money they had on those food stamp cards and those vouchers. And if they've been sending my money to the prison so men can get transgender surgery. Or you've been using my money on alien experiments, UFOs, TikTok.
Yeah, so that's good.
And you got the
That's
house
good.
and the...
So he absolutely has. First off, I don't even watch the Avengers. I think those superhero movies are idiotic. But
Is that because they all endorse? Is that because they all endorse Kamala?
yes, that is. Well, yes, they are idiotic. Therefore, they endorse Kamala, whatever her name was. But anyways, what we're going to do today, guys. Well, first off, I'm going to bring on my business partner. Some of you might not even know. We own a number of different businesses. Have over the last 15 years or so now, and about 8-9 years ago. The gentleman I'm going to bring on here is actually, we partnered in a lot of our companies that we've built together, have been really in like the direct sales, direct marketing, has allowed us to invest into a number of other companies as well. And when I'm like, have a question on anything politics, this is my go-to guy. I remember the first night of 2016 during the 2016 elections, Scott and I actually were in South Dakota of all places, and we're just like watching this. I think it was the first time that I had actually even gotten engaged at all and cared at all in politics, because it was starting to affect my life at the time. And I remember just how excited Scott was at this time. And nowadays it's like if I got a question, I'm like, okay, what does this person do, or what did that person do? How many seats are in the Senate? This is the stuff that he's helped me with over the number of years that we've had. And welcome to the show. Let's bring on Mr. Scotty Thomas. What's up, man?
Yeah.
I know you hate it when I call you Scotty. I'm sorry, dude.
Yes.
Mr. Scott Thomas.
You're actually call me that. So, no, great.
Me in the face like Mike Tyson's going to do tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're super loud. You're super loud, Scott. I know your mic might be too close. You're super loud.
All right. Let me see how to turn that down. Let me see if I can do it.
Okay.
That's
You
just
said
Scott's voice.
Is that better?
For those, yeah, I think it's good. What do you think,
Yeah.
Christian?
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Riley, you say he's your go-to guy on politics, but I said to announce him as like our chief resident expert on all things, because he's the guy I really call for all things. He's probably the most knowledgeable guy I know. So props to you, Scott. Thank you for being on. We're going to have some fun today with this draft. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
That Tuesday night was kind of interesting as everyone's anxiety kept going higher and higher and higher, and then it just goes, and the balloon just popped. Like, the world is safe again. And we all know, let's be honest, God's got his hand all over this in every different direction. You can see it everywhere, from Charlie Kirk conversations all the way through to Trump. And total sidebar, but look how many athletes are no longer listening to their league, and they're just praising God at the end of everything. From MMA to NFL to NBA, they're like, enough about you. I'm talking about what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
That shift alone is such a powerful one. But this is going to be good. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. We are, but this is where we want you guys to be engaged with us. So we're gonna do a little mock fantasy draft here. We like football, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Royce
do a little
doesn't.
bit of
That's why Royce isn't on the screen,
That's
though.
true.
Royce, he's not really a sports guy. When I sent him the thing, it's like, you got to play the chime from the NFL draft. He had no idea what we were talking about. But there we go. There we go. I love it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So what we're gonna do here is put up all of the nominations that Trump has actually made, and then we're gonna take turns. We're only gonna do this maybe 2-3 times through, depending upon how much time we've got. But this is where we want you guys to get engaged with us here in choosing our top selections that Trump has actually nominated here. But here's the kicker: you got to say why. It's not just, I'm going to take this guy or this gal, but we want to know why. And so leading us off, I think, Christian, it's only right that, I mean, I technically want to go first, but it's only right that Scott gets to go first in this. Would you agree, man?
Yeah, I agree. As long as I get 2, I'll get the second pick then.
There you go.
Okay, sure. I'll take the third then. That's all right, man. They're all good.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
what we want to know, let us know in the chat, who do you think of all the nominations that Trump has selected so far, who do you think's the number one? Like, what was the most important pick that he actually chose? And I know he still has a number that he's going to be nominating here, but what do you guys think? Who is the number one spot or the most important one that is going to help him lead the next 4 years here for the state of the economy that we're in right now, right? The state of America, our military. Think about all the things going on here and where we're heading or what needs to happen here over the next 4 years. Who do you guys think is like the best selection that he actually chose? If you only had one. That being said,
With the first pick of the 2024 cabinet draft, where's the chime, Royce? The pick is in. Scott Thomas, who do you have?
The state of Florida picks. You guys might notice something here. There's a little trend if you start seeing how many people are coming from the state of Florida. Let's just start there. You're going to see Florida. You're going to see Texas. You're going to see the states that are what I call the strongest and the most successful. But I want to kind of preload this one a little bit. The reason we're even here today is because politically correct. Politically correct has caused such an issue that people have said the only way out of politically correct is completely abandon it. And no one has abandoned it more than Matt Gaetz. Let's go. I'm going to take Matt Gaetz, Attorney General. Come on. Here's how you know you got the right guy. And I literally would say this if you take it this way. Trump picked Matt Gaetz, right? And immediately, as Attorney General, anyone who comes out against it, he should just literally circle their picture on the board. Here's why. Listen, the whole idea, Trump won on draining the swamp and on getting rid of bureaucracy and corruption and things like that. And all these people now are coming out going, well, hold on, he's not qualified. He's a lawyer. He went to William and Mary in Virginia. He's actually a spectacular attorney. And he's been in Congress for a while now. But every time he challenges things that the establishment doesn't like, they fire at him more. So this is where he starts to become a problem for them. That's exactly why you pick him. Because if you pick a rhino, and those who don't know what rhino is, it's Republican in name only, because they're not really voting that way or acting that way. What's happened is, look at this. I literally could have thrown a dart at this board, just so you guys know. I would have taken literally almost any of them. This would have been the easiest pick of anyone's career. But the reality is, when the Attorney General says, let's address this or don't address this, I won't go too far to the side. But listen, the laws that we have just on the border are completely sufficient. We don't need any new laws. But what happens is, as the other administrations come in, they go, okay, don't enforce that one, do enforce this one. So essentially, you're playing puppet master above laws that were already established. Now let's get back to law and order. We already have that law in the books. I don't have to write a new one. I don't need permission from Congress. I just need to enforce that law. Now go enforce it. That's it. And then corruption, they do the same on the other side. There's corruption, but he's one of our biggest donors, so we're not going to prosecute. Like, hold on. This is why people don't trust the government, just like they don't trust the news, because you lie to us over and over again. You pull favors over and over again. Matt Gaetz stands in court and goes, I won't be, I got a great clip from him. Royce, if you have that clip, this is a good one. I won't be lectured by you. Like, it's beautiful. Watch this one. I think it's about 28 seconds in. Oh, it's not that. It's the other one. I just sent it in the chat. So there you go.
Oh, I want to play that one, though.
No, we're going to play that one in a second. Sorry. I sent it in the chat, man. I'm sorry. I just was trying to look for it here last minute. See if you can grab that one from the chat. But that one's going to be important, too, because I think there's something valuable about speaking the truth. I heard on CNN the other day, one of the anchors said, you know what I find weird? Have you ever noticed all the anxiety, the tension, and everything around this election? But when you talk to Christians, they're eerily calm. Yeah, we are. Why? Because we only lean on truth. We stand on the truth, and that's it. Just like if you stand on the truth, if it's corrupt, prosecute. If it's a law, enforce it. Like, let's stick to that. That's what we vote you in for. You represent us. But when you see him in Congress just talking to the others, and there's people who don't like him, of course they don't, because all their little buddy deals and their cousin who got a job at the EPA, who got all these, my nephew now got a high-paying job and doesn't do anything. That happens so much, nepotism and all the favors and stuff. What's happened is we've got this humongously bloated government now. So, again, what I like about him is he just point-blank speaks the truth, and whatever happens, happens. If you're offended, you're offended. If it hurts your feelings, it hurts your feelings. Like, I'm not going to be lectured by you. So if we can get that quote, if we can get that in, that'd be great. But if not, we can surely go to the other one.
Yeah, we got to play that clip. I mean, and that rubs people the wrong way. But what I love about it is he has a backbone. He said something, and when somebody comes at him and says, expecting an apology, like so many people do nowadays, you say something that ruffles some feathers. He's like, no, be offended. Royce, you got that clip?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh-oh, Royce.
He's busy looking up what NFL actually stands for.
He's doing sports homework. That's all right.
You're good, man. Let's at least play my favorite clip of Matt Gaetz, if we can. That was, I think, will go down as one of the most hilarious clips of all time.
For sure.
Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
That's so good. Love it.
And for those who are like, that's just not nice. Well, it's for the most part the truth. It really is. It's and yeah, maybe he wasn't the nicest in going about that, but that's just the reality. It's those type of people that have no clue what they're even talking about for the most part, but they're fighting a fight that they don't even know why they're fighting it for, right? So I like it. I like your pick, Matt.
Well, here's what's funny. That's actually a result. Understand, he didn't need to just come out and be mean for the sake of being mean. This is a result of people speaking on behalf of other people. And I'll say it because I'm not going to be in public office anytime soon. I don't care. If you go look at who's defending all these minority and marginalized group. It's all Southern California white entitled rich women. They're like, dude, who are you fighting for? Ask the Mexican people. Mexican people are like, I'm not offended. Like, there's so many videos on the internet right now. You could literally put on a sombrero, throw a blanket over you, and go around. I don't know about you, but and they're like, are you offended? No, I love it. It's great. Why are you offended for other people? Stop. Let's make this clear today. Don't be ever offended for me. Let me be offended for me. You don't be offended for me. I'll take care of myself.
Amen.
So half the time they're offended for people who aren't even offended. It's so stupid. But this is a result. This is a result of everyone being so cautious that it matters more how you say it than what you say, which there's not very much place in leadership and getting stuff done that is almost 80% or fully supported by someone's feelings. We have to get things done. We have to fight wars. We got to do what we got to do. We got to prosecute people when they do stuff wrong, and we got to enforce the laws that are already on the books. Don't play favorite. Just go by the laws and go by the rules. Then everyone knows how to operate. This is why you have so many like border patrol and people who are disenfranchised, and then the FBI agents who don't trust their leadership because they're handpicking the rules. This is very basic for leadership. A little kid wants to know, where are the lines? Tell me where to color, and I want to go win. And people want to win. The FBI agents, the border agents, everybody, they want to win. Tell me my job. Let me go do my job. And they go do it. And they're like, well, don't do it like that. Like, what do you mean? You told me to do it. Now you're telling me to be careful and don't say it this way. And it's so ridiculous. So, Attorney General, I accept. Now, I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to go in. However, I think what you should do, and here's what this is another good card. You could play that. He could be playing this like he does tariffs. You threaten the tariffs, and you make all the cockroaches come out up against him and go, okay, that's the list. Okay, now here's my real guy. So that's the list. Same thing with tariffs. Some of those tariffs aren't going to actually ever go into place. It's the threat of the tariff that makes the other country do what we want them to do. It's not the actual tariff. And most people are so up in arms, like, you're going to raise all of our prices on everything. They're not going to do it. Why do you think Toyota builds trucks in America? Go do your homework. Yes. 25% tariff on a pickup truck. Toyota builds them in America so we don't have to pay that. Guess who gets the jobs? Americans. Yeah. Like, it's not. This isn't really that hard. This is a simple formula all the way across. So that's my pick.
It's playing chess, not checkers.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
While everybody's playing checkers, Trump's playing chess. I love it. I love it. All right.
So
Christian.
I'm up with the number 2 pick in the cabinet draft, my man Royce. And Mind Commander had asked why somebody wasn't on that list that we showed of the appointments, but that's because it's the best list that we could find that had all their faces on it so far, quite frankly. And I'm actually going to choose with my first pick somebody who was not on that list either, but I'm going with Tom Homan as the new border czar. And quite frankly, I've liked this guy since 2019 when he just like destroyed AOC in that house meeting. And I think we have a clip of it here. Yeah, let that run, Royce.
Your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're in the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
Yes.
The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
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 Spoken like a
I
true
love.
defender.
Yeah, and to your point, Scott, it's enforcing the law. That's all it is. There's no such thing as a legal asylee who's in this country illegally. And I finally found a good barber down here in Dallas, right? And he is from Peru, and all the barbers in there, they're all from Central and South America, right? And he's in this country legally, and he just got back from a trip to New York City. And this guy, like, he legit, I mean, he's Peruvian. He speaks English, but not well. Cuts hair really well, if you can't tell. But he was like, yeah, we just took our mother-in-law to my mother-in-law to New York City. She wanted to go there. She said, he goes, when was the last time you were there? I know you're from New Jersey. I said, I haven't been there in years. Even when I was 20 minutes outside New York City, I made it a point not to really go into the city. And he said, there's just migrants everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's migrants. And he was complaining. And if anybody has the right to complain about this, it's somebody who did come to this country legally, right? Yep. And I mean, we had a good conversation about it. But this guy, Tom Homan, what a beast. The way he even took off his glasses there. Yeah. So Matt Gaetz, Tom Homan, we showed that handshake by Trump earlier. Like, this is what the left would describe and the world would describe now as toxic masculinity, right? That's really what they would describe this as toxic masculinity. And I would argue, like, no, this is just masculinity, right? This is just simple masculinity. And it's good for men to be men. It's good for leaders to actually show leadership qualities. And he was just on 60 Minutes. I don't think we showed a clip because of copyright infringement. But when he was questioned again about separating families, he was like, well, we'll just deport them all together.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, yeah, we don't need to separate it. We'll just ship them all out together. And he's already saying stuff like, if you're in this country illegally, we know who you are and we know where you are. So, yeah, that guy's a beast. Used to be a cop. He ran ICE for a number of years. So I love that guy. That's my pick.
And I'll chime back in with some detail because I know you guys will ask it at a different time. But he was Obama's #1 guy, first of all. And he also got a medal for his job, doing his job correctly and successfully. And it's not toxic, man. Right now, it's actually called essential masculinity. It's necessary masculinity. We've become so soft where we have a sitting congresswoman making comments. So she's not reading it. She's adding her feelings. So this recommendation, this is family separation. Do you think they're going, all right, guys, we need to separate some families today. Let's go figure out which families to separate. You're so idiotic. That's why they're always looking at the third step, not the first step. Okay, he's here illegally. Yeah, but don't worry about that. Oh, hold on, but he robbed someone or killed someone or raped someone. I know, but he's got his kid with him. Let's not worry about the first two. No, let's worry about the first two, and we'll deal with his kid later. And if you need to, send his kid back with him. Listen, at the end of the day, it sounds insensitive. We can't save the whole world. We have processes for people to come and enjoy America. And I think Charlie Kirk and others have said this best. America's the only country that the people come to who say they hate it won't leave.
Right.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
And
that's a result.
Yes. And the pompous ones that have been here and don't have to deal with, they're the ones that are complaining for them, right? As you mentioned before, Scott.
Exactly.
So, yes. All right. Good pick, Christian.
What you got?
Man.
Tracy Pick just said soy boys are toxic. Love it, Tracy.
They are. Yes.
Go ahead.
Leads
So
me to my pick, Christian.
Yeah, my man Royce, killing it.
He's on it today. He's on it. Well, I love what you just said, Tracy, and I'm gonna take the guy that I think would actually crush Matt Gaetz and Tom Homan in an arm wrestling competition. Bobby! I got Bobby in this one. I love Bobby because, man, what's really not to love? Obviously, I think this is a prime example of, in the King's Council, we coach a lot. We have a phrase that says your alignments birth your assignments. And I think this is a prime example of it, of RFK coming under and supporting Donald Trump to put him in a position to most be effective for what really is his true heart and what his commitment is to. And I think this dude's going to stick it to Big Pharma. Praise the Lord, because they need it if anybody does. Man, Scott, this is just a side note too on
Yeah.
Big Pharma. So one of Scott and I's companies that we work with is kind of in the health space. And I was sitting down with this woman, and she had told me that 6 of her friends, her 6 close friends, and mind you, this is a town of about 2,000 people, so extremely rural. 6 of her friends that all got the Pfizer jab had all randomly developed cancer within a couple months of each other. What the dirt? What the dirt?
Yeah.
We know this is happening so much. We know just the corruption that's taking place, not only in Big Pharma, but just the food supply today, right? I think part of the reason so many people are out of their freaking mind is because of what they're consuming, right? And this is what I think RFK is going to actually go in and expose. And I think a lot of us, first off, you got to take care of yourself, like individually. RFK ain't going to be your savior with this of like your overall health. If you're sick and you're overweight and I mean, look at what you're putting in your body, for number one. But he's exposing this stuff at a much higher level that a lot of people have been completely misinformed on, right? Simple things that just common sense would tell you, like consuming something that looks like toxic Mountain Dew, you know, yellow number 5, red dye 40, all of these things that have been proven over and over and over and over and over and over again to cause tumors, to cause asthma, ADD, neurological disorders, anxiety, depression, which is like the majority. But I love it because all of this is approved here in America. It is not approved in other countries. In fact, there's even warning labels on food that has yellow dye. I don't even remember what it's called, like Traz something. But they don't let you consume that. And there's a reason why America, while we are the richest nation in the world, but we are the sickest. We're the unhealthiest. Our mortality rate has done nothing but plummet since the 90s. And cancer, disease, all of these things are skyrocketing because of this, because of what we're consuming, number one. But also all of that comes down to money, because what we're consuming is causing a problem, which they magically have a pill for, that you get to stay and continue to be on. And I love RFK because I think he's getting what you guys had talked about is kind of external things, but I think this is an internal pick, and in my opinion, on getting to the root of the problem. Like, what in the health are we doing here in America? And I think this is going to open people's eyes, expose it, but at the end of the day, too, you got to take responsibility for yourself. But I think he's going to do a great job at exposing it and making people more aware of what actually is going on. And ultimately, he is going to make America healthy again.
Come on.
That's my pick.
Yeah.
Love it. King's Counsel Roger. What's up, Raj? I said, can we get that picture of RFK compared to Rachel Levine? I don't know if we got that one queued up today. We showed that last week, but I know we got a clip of him. Just how old's RFK? He is.
I don't know.
We should
Google
know this,
search.
Right?
Siri.
But look at him. The guy's jacked. The guy's jacked. We got a clip on here where he's just doing pull-ups.
He's 70.
70 years old.
Wild.
I love it. And this guy's ripping out pull-ups here. Look at that. At 70.
She's 67. She is 67.
That Richard
Look at that.
Levine.
Yeah.
Banging out those pull-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine. And I think a lot of people are going to look at that photo though, like, oh, he's on roids. It's like here's the reality. This is a fact. In the 1940s, the average 35-year-old's testosterone levels were 1,400 in the 1940s, and nowadays you are in normal range if you're like 200 to 300.
Yeah.
Like, this is what the beta is happening, because it's the food supply. It's what we're not doing. Like, go lift something every now and then, right? Even if it is your freaking car keys to leave your house, go do something, get moving, and our testosterone levels will naturally be increased. Right now, I'm sure he's doing a little HRT, which I think every man over the age of 45 probably should, because of the food supply that they're actually consuming, and it's become worse and worse and worse and worse. Shout out to transcendcompany.com if anybody needs a little HRT. You can get your blood work, everything done right there. Shameless plug.
Yeah. I already saw yesterday, I think there was a note that says, hey, the day after inauguration, all water supplies in America must remove all fluoride. Starting day one, be working on it now. Hey, just giving you a heads up. If you think it's going to take some time for engineering, get working on it because we're going to start taking it out. It's so crazy, the stuff that we just let go just for the sake of it. I don't know if you guys saw that congressional hearing about Kellogg's. If you look at Fruit Loops in America and Fruit Loops in Europe, the difference is like twice as many chemicals, twice as many ingredients. And they literally just now banned Kellogg's from schools, public schools in a couple states or something. So they're starting to come out and say, listen, if you're playing along with that, if that's something you're doing, because remember, they're trying to put stuff in that makes it addicting or kicks a dopamine or it does us something. What they're trying to do is, listen, as a marketer, you want to say, how do I get people to buy my product more? Okay, I think you should make it good to where they like it and they'll want to buy it more. That's where the line stops. You're literally drugging people to like it so they become addicted. That's a very different thing. If your stuff tastes good and it's good for me and I like it, I should buy it again. I don't have that problem. The problem is when they're adding a chemical that they know is bad for you and their only reason for putting it in is so that you want more of it. Again, go back to Coca-Cola to cocaine and do the whole thing. You go all the way through, but it's been happening for years and years and years. But go look in other countries where those same products have limits and they're just limited. They literally just play along and go, all right, we'll take all the chemicals out. Then do it here. The problem is nobody here is telling them they have to.
Yep.
So that's going to be a big thing. This is going to become, and I know all three of you have heard this numerous times where people go, hold on, if it's not FDA approved, I'm not sure I trust it. I'm like, what Kool-Aid have you? If you think the FDA is on your side for your personal health and longevity, you are smoking the opium worse than anybody else. They do not. Most of their decisions are almost purely made on relationships, money, or something else. I'm not saying there isn't some checks. We do need some checks, but come on, dude. They are way out of line in a lot of categories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did see also stock price of Moderna and Pfizer have come down since RFK being appointed there. And I love that. RFK is good friends with Dr. Peter McCullough, who has been the outspoken voice about vaccinations. And it's crazy because you would think it's such taboo. You can't talk about these things, right? But no, these are the things we need to talk about.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Watch them drop.
Yeah. So getting some Dr. Peter McCullough, world-renowned cardiologist, very outspoken against the jab, for sure. And he's just literally saying, just look at the science behind it. Let's look at this. Don't just believe it because the government told you. And, he's been blacklisted a bit because of that. But I love that RFK is going to have this position now. His right-hand man's Dr. Peter McCullough. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes. Good pick. And one last thing, and then we'll go back to Scott on this. But I think what's hilarious too is most of us were walking down the grocery store aisle, and it's like there's all this food, aisles and aisles and aisles of food, and then there's like in the corner there's this small section that's called health food, and then you got to look out and go, what's all that?
What's that's health. Yeah.
But this is just like, think, people. You got to think for yourself. Yeah. And I think, again, RFK is my pick on this. I appreciate your guys' picks for sure, but I think RFK is going to do it starting with the individual first, and then that's going to have a ripple effect because what we're doing this, why we do anything is for our kids' kids. It's generational here, and I want to leave this place a much better place for Ellie and Titus once I get called home one day. So, all right, back to you, Scott. We gotta make these quick, man.
Well, this one is going to be quick. This one is beautiful. Great job, Luke. All right, here's the best. I'm going Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Now, let's talk how funny this one kind of can be. So, do you guys know that because she's so outspoken, because now she's not some just mamby-pamby, if she beta, no, she's an alpha if you look truly all the way down to Army National Guard. She was in Hawaii. She's a representative. She's done pretty much, she's as qualified as she could be. Here's where the irony comes. So almost, and I won't jump to them, but there's another one probably coming up, I'm guessing, that the establishment turned on them, and now they're in charge of the people who took. So, guys, I don't know if you guys know this. Tulsi Gabbard was put on a list called Quiet Skies. Have you heard of this? It's a no-fly list or a watch list or be careful. Hey, here she comes. Or let's keep an eye on that one. And it was all set up to monitor movements because of what she was very outspoken over. She's now in charge of the people. How awesome is this? So now, she is director of national intelligence. There's going to be a couple things that she's actually a little Kellyanne Conway-ish. She's going to be an advisory role, really more. But it's going to come from a place of, I've been there and done it. Not like some of these others. Like the hell, Rachel Levine, let's be clear. I don't respect a fat doctor telling me how to be in shape. I'm not going to respect someone to tell me this is how to be healthy, where you're nothing remotely close to healthy in all categories. So this is one of those, if you start to notice his picks, they have real life experience in the spot they have. Have you guys seen the video of her working out and shooting the guns and doing all? Do we have that?
We got that. Yeah, we got that.
Okay, dude, this is who she is. Talk about backbone and spine and.
That's good, Royce. Yeah, she's straight up a bad bleep chick. That's what she is. Yeah.
Well, but I always look at these in a couple different angles because it's so easy for somebody to go, yeah, but that's not like a real woman. A real woman embraces her femininity. Hold on. We're asking her to be a leader. We're asking her to take a role that's tough. We're asking her to show us a work ethic. We're asking her. It's the same thing when people do this about Trump. Like, I don't like the way he's mean. Like, okay, I understand, but he's not teaching my daughter her morals and ethics and all. He's not doing. That's not his job. That's not what we're asking him to do. We're asking him to run the country, and really, the government should only do two things: keep the economy strong and secure our borders. Let's be clear. Keep everything else out of our business. But we're asking her to do a job that requires work ethic, stick-to-itness, bravery, all these things. So somebody who cannot show those qualities, she can exude those qualities right to your face, like no problem. Same with Matt Gaetz. Like if you can't go into Congress and stand and fight for what you believe in and speak it in public with all arrows swinging, then what kind of leader are you? And this is what we're asking each of the leaders of these departments to do: is stand in that gap, take the slings. Don't think for a second these are not going to be wars that are about to be started in some of these confirmations, but. We have the House, we have the Senate. These should all be recess. Let's get them all during recess. If you got the votes, vote them in. Let's keep them moving. We actually don't need both sides if we have it. That's part of, remember Obama, elections have consequences. And here's what they are. The American people have given Trump a mandate. Go get it done. And this is what he's doing, and I'll take her every time. Yeah. And she can take herself off the Quiet Skies list.
Yes.
So
yes,
dumb.
put a few others on there maybe.
Oh,
I think I saw in the chat someone said, wasn't she used to be a Democrat? It's like, yeah, a lot of these people did, right?
Yeah.
That's why this isn't about Democratic or Republican. This is about what's right. This is about actually fighting and giving the power back to the people, and ultimately what America was founded on.
Arguably, Trump kind of was too at one point.
Yeah, yes, it's true.
On some level, he wasn't really affiliated all the way. But what you're finding is everyone is kind of just abandoning the red and blue tag and going, forget identity politics. Let's just do what makes sense, which is what every viewer listening should do. Forget red and blue. Does it make sense to you? Or is what you hear, is it a good idea or is it not a good idea? Is it going to work or is it not going to work? Just do that, and you'll start to notice you're going to drift right, because where the pragmatic side of getting stuff accomplished usually is.
That's true. All right, let's go. Just for the sake of time, Christian, you and I, we got to each get one more real quick. So Scott isn't sole here.
Yeah. So with my second pick, I'm going with the Secretary of Defense, an outspoken Christian, bad bleep dude, like as masculine as they come, Mr. Pete Hegseth.
Come on.
I love it. And everybody's like, oh, they pick a Fox News correspondent to be the Secretary of Defense. Oh, well, he was far much more than that. I mean, served in Afghanistan and Iraq, served for many, many years, wrote a book. But I mean, I just saw this too. He was on a podcast and talking about he's got the cross tattoos on his chest. And for January 6th, when like he wanted to get down there and respond, he was told to stand down because he was deemed as a Christian nationalist,
Yeah.
because of his cross
Praise the Lord.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Praise the Lord for that. Yeah. So this dude is ripped and jacked as they come. And again, it's is he the most qualified? Maybe, maybe not. But this is a guy who's going to get the job done. This is the guy, and I'm getting more and more fired up watching this because these are true leaders. Again, people who say what they mean and mean what they say. Like I'm excited for the next 4 years. I know we're not to be messed with by other countries. The economy is going to flourish. The next 4 years are looking good. Now, don't lose sight of things. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. When we enter this comfortable time here in this nation, don't lose sight. Don't lose your dependency on God first and foremost. As things get comfortable, our bank accounts start to go up, our retirement funds start to go up, stocks start to go up. Don't get too comfortable in that. Still keep your dependence and reliability upon Jesus and Jesus alone. First and foremost.
100%.
Yes. Amen.
Real quick side note, I know you got time, but I love it when people say he's not qualified. First of all, he spent all the time in the military. Let's take one quick second. Just like Tulsi Gabbard, when they said Trump doesn't like to surround himself with smart women, everyone on this list is smart. Very, very smart. First of all, Pete Hegseth has a bachelor's from Princeton and a master's from Harvard.
Yeah.
And after Harvard came out and did all that stuff on Fox, he burned his diplomas. He's like, I don't need these anymore. These guys are idiots. This is stupid. He's got a master's in political policy. Like, this is what he does. He happens to do it on the news because that's the role that he was given at the time. But there is very few people more qualified than him. But again, these woke generals, they don't want him coming in saying, let's clean this up, because they're all comfortable. They just want to sail off into the sunset and just eat up 4 more years of our life. So sorry about taking your time, Riley.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Because I don't need much time for this. You guys, I mean, you got some good picks there, but I'm gonna take the ship here with this thing, and I'm gonna go. And the reason I say that is I get 2 picks in this one. I get 2 picks.
Okay. Well, it's your show. You can do what you want.
Yeah, it's
our show. It's our show, bro. It's our show. Come on.
Right.
But you guys all know who I'm referring to then with the 2 picks. The Doge representatives, Vivek and Elon, baby. Those are my picks. For number, what is that? Number 6? Yeah, 6 and 7.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna take that. But this is obviously just common sense. And I think I saw a post by oh gosh, what the heck is her name? She claimed to be an Indian. Warren's. And she was like, how efficient is this, picking 2 people? It's like, these dudes ain't getting paid. These days, these guys are not getting paid. That's not even a department, right? They're literally consulting and speaking into there in what needs to happen, how to run a country efficiently. I remember Elon had said he could come in and cut at least $2 trillion within like the first year and a half or something like that. And it was just like, that's what needs to happen, baby. Get rid of those 3-letter organizations, get lean and mean, and let's operate this country that got us to the superpower that we once were. If anybody got fat and sassy, Christian, like you mentioned, it's like we did as America, and then that's why we got what we got. And we get back to the basics here, lean and mean. Let's get back to the superpower that we once were. So I got Vivek and Elon, and I win.
You know what's great about that? First of all, I'll give it to you, because here's what I love about it for 2 reasons. One, they're like the most, okay, don't pay me, I don't care. Second, Trump goes, I need this done by 4th of July, 2026. They both go, $2 trillion? Okay. Like, okay.
Right.
Now, you don't understand, it's going to take time, and they didn't do any of that. They go, okay. Because they know, I think they just shut their eyes and just go, poof. I think the other thing we should do going forward is when they're getting unemployment numbers, they should take government jobs out, because a couple of administrations now have counted their numbers are going up because they just hired a bunch of people to sit around. And they just came out and go, all of the DEI hires, go ahead and just quit now. Just quit yourself. Because you know you don't do any work. And you know you were hired and you're not qualified. And I know you need the money. That's cool. But I'm giving you time to get a job. Start looking now. And you already know who you are. Trust me, you're going to get the letter. You're going to get a call. But start getting out of the way. If he walks into Twitter and dumps 70% of them and they're doing just fine, bro, he's got 80% of the government. You can start with 87,000 IRS agents. You can start right there, the easy one. But
Absolutely.
the reality is, this is the thing that's never been checked or done. Why aren't we auditing? Did you see this thing? I saw this $500 billion in fraud and errors. Can you think of one business? I don't even care what percentage it is. I realize it's so humongous, but let's think about this. Let's say you're a $27,000 household. 270. You're just saying we make 270, and I lost $50,000. How do you just lost it in that? You know how my checking is, like Kevin Hart. You know how my checking is connected to my savings and what had happened, my money, and then I lost. Dude, what are you talking about? How did you just lose it? Well, fraudulent transaction. Okay, go get it. Well, that's not that easy. We don't know who actually was involved. Like, okay, then that's our problem. Start with there. Start right there.
Yes.
And then turn the spigot off to these other countries and let's get going again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen to
a little
that.
crazy.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
All right. I want to say, what do you guys think of our picks? What do you think? If it's me, you guys can say that in the chat. That's of course fair.
Leading the witness.
But we always like to take a little segment here and talk about sports, Scott. We'd love your opinion on it's fight night, baby.
Yeah.
Big night tonight. I'm hoping I get to stay up late enough for it. Man, it's getting late for me, man, at that time. But we got Mike Tyson and Jake Paul tonight. For those that don't know, there's a 3-part documentary series. I'm gonna try to watch that third part here before tonight's fight if I can. That's how I got Ash involved, and she's like, "We should watch that." I was like, "Yeah, we should. We really should."
If you go to bed at 6:30, Tyson will just Titus will wake you up right before the fight. It'll be
That's
perfect.
true. That's true. So Mike Tyson, 58 years old.
Come on.
Jake Paul, 27 years old. For those that don't know who Jake Paul is, if you're older than I am, even I was like, I got to figure out who this guy was, and it's like, okay, I remember, like, he was the YouTube famous guy, and he's gone on and done incredible things. That's a dude who's become an incredible entrepreneur. And then there's Mike. Mike's a bad dude, and man, I would not want to get punched by him. But Scott, what do you think, man? Who you got?
Dude, I love it. So being the elder on the three of us at this point, I was telling you a funny story. So when he fought Joe Lewis's son, Marvis Lewis, I was going on a vacation with a friend of mine. We were going to North Carolina, and his dad is a pastor, and he's like a big time, super frugal. He didn't want to spend any money, but he's a huge boxing fan. He's like, dude, there's a Tyson fight. It's right in the middle of our way. Back then, we pulled off to this little motel because it said HBO free. For those of you who remember that. They used to brag about having cable, and then they would try to get you to go there because it was free. We literally pulled in, rented a room, all sat on the beds watching a Mike Tyson fight. If you ever see, it's 19 seconds. He knocks him out in 19 seconds. And we're like, okay, let's go. We packed all our stuff and we got back in the car. But I will tell you this. I think there's very few people who argue. He is one of the unarguably baddest men in the world. Now, mentally, he's gone from almost crazy psycho to a really level-headed, I wouldn't say super intelligent-y, because that's not really the thing, but his thing is he's very in tune with himself. No, but you know what I mean. It's spinal. But it was mostly. But I think what's happened is he's really in tune with his own piece. He really understands that, he's grateful for everything he's got. Like he used to say, why do you blow so much money? He's like, I thought I'd be dead by 30, just like all my friends. Like, literally, that's how we live. But I think in this one, whether this is a true exhibition or just a big publicity stunt, I don't know, and maybe we'll never know, and I don't really care. But the reality is, if Mike locks in, there's not going to be much that Jake can do. Now, they've already changed a couple of rules, which some in good are in favor for Mike. It's normally 3-minute rounds, normally 12 rounds, normally 10-ounce gloves. They changed to 14-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds, and only 8. But there is judges. I did realize that there is judges, so if no one gets knocked out. But if real Mike shows up, if real angry flip that switch Mike shows up, I think it will be in the first probably 2. Because he's not Jake Paul's not a defend himself guy. He's a sluggy slug guy. Just watching him fight, and he's entertaining. And let's be clear, he's practicing with real people. He is legit as far as fighting. He's legit. Like, I get it. All the purists hate this kind of thing. But the reality is, if he's practicing and doing it right, he's got good technique, and he actually is hitting people hard enough to knock them out. At the end of the day, I don't know what else there really is. You don't need pedigree to walk in, because some of these people straight off the street. But if Mike connects with him, that beard ain't thick enough to hold those blows. Mike can take your head off if he does that.
Are you picking him?
I think I'm going to pick Mike Tyson. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, you talked about how Scott, you said how he was like borderline crazy and insane, which he was, and he became more level-headed, but he still talks about this demon of Iron Mike that's in him, and when he gets locked in, and he says he hates that guy, he wants him dead, he wants him out of his life because he can't control himself when he turns into this guy. And last night, when he slapped Jake Paul, now I understand Jake Paul is a promoter.
Yeah,
he's doing phenomenal, just making money and doing his thing. I get it. And we know in boxing more than anything else, it's about promotion, hyping up the fight. But you see Tyson here, he slaps him, then that look in his eye when he steps back, you see that old Iron Mike back. Even if they plan this out, because they have a cordial relationship, Mike and Jake Paul here.
Yeah.
Even if they plan something out, when Mike's in that ring, he may go off script.
Yeah.
Once he gets tagged once or twice, or he's in that ring, I don't know if he could turn Iron Mike off. So my pick in this fight, even though Jake Paul is the betting favorite, and I just heard yesterday that MGM took 2 separate $500,000 bets on Jake Paul to win. He's the favorite in this fight. However, if it is fixed in any sort of way, if Jake Paul wins, I don't think there's going to be a rematch. It's like, poor Mike, he's an old guy, he shouldn't get back in the ring again. But if Mike wins, there probably will be another. There will be a part 2 to this. So I'm going to.
Let me add one more thing. Be careful what you wish for. If he's in there just trying to dance around and Jake catches him early, he might turn something on he didn't mean to turn something on. Even Mike didn't mean to turn it on. That's the danger of this. Because like you said, when I say he's trying to just live a chill life, he does speeches and he goes and talks to people. He plays with pigeons. But let's be clear. You hit somebody in their head hard enough a couple times, you might flip a switch you didn't mean to flip. He might catch him trying to look good, and he might not be able to turn him off. But Mike did say this the other day. He goes, once I go in, you'll know by my stare if I can hold him in or not.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan once famously said, he goes, when Mike came out of prison, look at that stare. And Joe goes like this on the sidelines. He's like, dude, look at that stare. And he's just like, you can just see in his eyes, like, I don't want to be anywhere near that guy. Like, he's going to rip somebody's head off.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if we'll ever know if it was rigged or not, or they have some agreement. But if it's just a money-making thing and Mike feels like doing it, let him do it. Good for him.
Yeah. I think we could all agree, though, even at Mike's age of 58, he's still the baddest dude on the planet.
He is absolutely.
The baddest dude on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Riley, who do you have?
Well, he's the baddest dude on the planet. You gotta talk like him, man. Maybe a little squeakier voice.
I was ecstatic.
Yeah, right. So,
I broke my back.
Oh, we need that clip. So that's so good. I'm rooting for Mike. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm really truly hoping that it's not rigged. And the more, I mean, obviously it's just a documentary, but the more that I watch those 2 segments on Netflix, and who knows what's real, I guess. But I would find it hard to believe that Jake Paul would set himself up to fail. The dude's a winner. He wants to win. He wants to win at things, and so I'm really hoping that this is hey, let's just go see. Let's go. The baddest man's gonna win this fight. And I did read that if he gets if Jake knocks him out in 4 rounds, Mike gets $5 million. Or excuse me, if Mike, yes. So there's incentives. There's definitely some financial incentives here on top of that. And I think, as you both said, once Mike flips that switch, man, I don't think there's any going back. So that's what I'm rooting for. Let's watch this clip.
Mike, were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or
Well,
what portion?
Spinal.
You did that in sparring?
No, I did it by a motorcycle accident. The doctor discovered I was doing my sit-ups 2,500 a day with my 20-pound weight, and one day I couldn't move anymore. And I asked the doctor, what's wrong? And he said, believe it or not, it's wearing your back is broken slightly.
Mike, were you really sick?
Oh, that's
Even if your back is broken.
we have to. I gave this to Royce because this is my all-time greatest, most favorite clip of Mike Tyson. I love this. This is the best. Play this, Royce.
Run DMC, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, the Fat Boys, Salt and Pepper. I mean,
give love a bad name.
that's Bon Jovi.
That was Dana White talking about growing up in the 80s and the origins of hip hop. And then Mike Tyson, which is hilarious because Mike Tyson is from Brooklyn, from Brownsville, Brooklyn, right? And if anybody knows that scene at the time, it's hip hop in Brooklyn in the 80s.
I
bust out Bon
I can just
Jovi.
say this, and people who watch you guys all the time, bro, that was literally you two. When you're talking about rap music, literally, I was like, what is that? Wait, that's a singer?
So I'm Mike Tyson? Come on.
In that scenario, only that scenario, when you were talking about the rappers, you're like, that's a rapper? Yes, Riley, that's a rapper. Like, okay.
When we were doing an episode on Money a couple months ago, and I talked about the song Cream by Wu-Tang Clan, which is an acronym for Cash Rules Everything Around Me. And Riley goes, Cream? I don't know who Cream is. Riley thought Cream was a rapper.
That would be a pretty sick rap name, I guess. If you were white, maybe if you were a white rapper, that'd be a cool name. Cream.
I thought it stood for Christ rules everything around me. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good recovery, much smoother than Mike's. But and that's kind of what I was talking about. I wouldn't say, now that he's chilled out a little, he hasn't become much smarter, but he's definitely at peace with himself. You can tell he likes his life at this point. So does he really need to go in, work out like he is working out, fight, take something on where he looked like he could embarrass himself? This is not going to tarnish his career. Anybody who loves and likes Mike Tyson's boxing career sees this as silly anyway. But if he does come out, they're going to go, see, told you, you shouldn't fight real fighters. And if he loses, like, bro, you fought a 58-year-old. Like, there's nothing for Mike to lose here. He can make some money and let him do it. It sounds like he's having a good time. But I'm telling you, if Jake accidentally flips a switch, if he catches him weird and it hurts or stings his eye, or like if you catch his nose, and there's little things that can happen in a boxing match, that might just happen. That would be pretty interesting if it did. He's like, I don't need the other $5 million. I'm taking your head off now. Like, okay, watch out.
Yeah, I don't see anybody in the chat for Paul. And I don't know if that's. I mean, I think the rooting interest is definitely Mike Tyson. Of
course.
I think everybody wants him to win. But yeah,
Jake Paul loves that though. That's what Jake Paul loves. Like he thrives on that. He's a promoter, bro. That's how he's making the hundreds of millions of dollars on this thing. So good for him.
I think there's also a tinge of, if you're looking at the real books and the real betting people who are about to put a ton of money and get involved, they're going to say, okay, Jake's involved. There's probably some rules here. There's some strategy, or there's some boundaries that we don't know totally about. I don't know if it's a fully sanctioned fight or whatever term that would be, but yeah, they got the permits from the state of Texas and everything's good. They got their rules all established, but is it real? That's the part this is why I always say you can bet on animals and stuff like that, but I don't bet on humans because they lie. So
yeah, let's see if any of Jake's friends are betting on Tyson, then maybe we have a problem. But they'll have a Nancy Pelosi situation going on there.
Pete Rose called. He said he wants to.
Right
awesome.
on. All right. Well, we're over our time. These hours always fly by, man. It seems like one day a week is just not enough. We need more time with this. This is fun. Next week, Scott, we're gonna have you on more and more, dude. This is gonna be fun. Next week, we're gonna. We'll talk about what happened in the fight. We'll talk about all of these new announcements that are going to be taking place here over the next week. And any closing thoughts, Christian or Scott?
Well, I just want to shout out Tracy King. Been active in the chat. She says Trump's all-star team is incredible. So thank you, Tracy. And hit that like button. Guys, help support the show. Help support the channel. Like, subscribe, share it. As Graham always says, it helps the algorithm. And yeah, we're trying to get out there. If you like us, hopefully other people do too. We might ruffle some feathers every now and again, but at our core, we love Jesus Christ. We just do some fun episodes like this from time to time.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I would say the same thing with Trump. Like, follow. You're going to get so sick of winning. I mean, we're going to be just winning and winning and winning. You're going to get so sick of winning. This is going to be an interesting cast, because I think what's going to really truly happen is when you put warriors and strong-willed people who stand on truth. Most of them are very, very outspoken Christians. The people who come against them are literally just tagging themselves, and keep an eye on the people who come out really hard against them. That's your list. I think that's the list we got to watch for. But it's going to be fun either way. I think it's going to be great.
Yes.
Speaking of winning, let's close this out with a little trivia for Riley. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Who was that?
Bon Jovi, I know the song, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Another
Scott
one.
knows.
Another one.
Yeah, it's DJ Khaled. It's T-Pain who's actually saying those words. But yeah, it's a DJ.
DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you know. How you know they're always DJ Khaled songs, because he starts by saying DJ Khaled, and then win. He's like, I got to put my name on the album. It makes it easier because I don't actually need to sing. I'm just the producer. So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't say.
Thanks for the trivia, Christian.
Sure,
Again. That being said, I love you guys. Love you, listeners. Thanks for joining us here, and we will see you guys all on next week's episode. See you
Awesome.
Love you guys.
Thanks for having me.